Starting, it says. Now it has a stop button, so that means we're on.
Oh, yep. I'm saying that we're live.
Picking me up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Let me make
I don't
sure
know.
I'm muted. There it is. It's starting now. Boy, that's quite a delay.
Oh, yeah. I'm watching it on my iPad.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, I've muted myself. There we go.
So for anybody who's watched this, typically I use a phone and will record over my shoulder. Today I'm going to be lettering, and so I'm sharing my screen on my computer. But I was showing Ellis before we got started. I'm a huge John Byrne fan, and these are John Byrne pages that Byrne drew. Oh, I think started about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer than a year ago, probably a year and a half ago. And he basically got the itch to draw. He basically wanted to know how he would draw X-Men pages, kind of in the same mindset that he did back in the '80s. And so he started drawing, and he's drawn about 200 of these pages. And Marvel was trying to get a deal with them, or somebody at Marvel saw him, and they've talked to him, and they went to his house and looked at him and stuff. But apparently they could never make a deal on whatever. And Marvel has a big X-Men push, and they got their own X-Men thing. They're doing a Hickman book. They're relaunching the whole line.
Well, it just fascinates me that a guy can stay self-motivated enough to pump out 200 pages when he's only promised the idea that he can sell them, as original artwork, to where he's not doing copyright infringement by virtue of that. And, obviously, a guy could work a lot harder than that for $2,000. You say he's doing them every 4 hours. I don't know. That's pretty quick on some of those.
Yeah, that's what he worked. That's the pace he says he works at, probably 4 to 6 hours.
4 to 6. Well, he's saying he probably puts in a day. Every time he produces a page, he's not producing 3 or 4 pages a day. He's not spending 12-hour days. He's spreading his 5 hours out probably throughout his day.
No. He's a guy that he gets up in the morning, Ellis, and he eats and he sits at his drawing table. He doesn't get up till he's done.
And he works.
He doesn't listen to music. He rarely drinks coffee or anything while he's working.
Probably happier than any of us. Yep.
He's just a guy that he enjoys. And I read an interview with him years ago, and I wish I could find it. And basically he said that, he had always knew when he was a kid that he would draw comics when he grew up. And he had always thought that even if he just drew them for himself, he would always draw comics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what this started out as. He had no desire to be, famous or whatever. You hear about people that do comics. And so he's just doing this just out of his love of the medium. Now,
yeah, his storytelling and his writing. I mean, he's getting to write. Writers write whether or not you pay them or not. Why would an artist draw? Even though there's so much more work involved in getting that drawing done.
Well, I think he's a guy that and he's talked about this, that he kind of does what I've heard about Kirby doing, where he'll look at the page and just see it on the page, and basically when he draws, he's tracing what he sees in his head.
Wow.
Which is, I know, it's like, holy cow. Which, Kim Jong-gi, I think he's kind of like that.
I mean, there can be a kind of a...
well, it's a pre-visualization kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, most of us don't have that. We kind of hack it out or whatever.
Well, it's mileage based. He's done something like every mark he's going to put down already at this point. He's got so much mileage in.
Well, but
it's going to be a little bit something like what he's drawn before.
Well, and also he's talked about how when he was a kid, he didn't know that you're supposed to draw with a pencil, and so he drew everything with an ink pen.
Uh-huh.
And so he didn't have that habit of draw, erase. He would just draw. And I mean, if you look at these, I love looking at his pencils. Here's a pretty good example. So you can see there's some construction lines in there. And he's posted, And you can even see where he changes stuff. You know, he's moved that foot, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And he's posted process and videos of him drawing and stuff online. And I mean, you can see here he's built it up, but apparently it's pretty quick. And he doesn't do thumbnails, and he doesn't do, you know, he looks at it. Now he does do a perspective grid on most of his pages. You know.
Yeah, I can see the grid fairly often.
Yeah, you can see it there pretty clearly. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I didn't want to spend all evening talking. I love that picture of Cyclops.
How is he transferring that grid? Just printing it?
No, he draws it on the page.
So he's drawing in blue pencil to get his grid.
He's drawing it in pencil. He works in his only drawing tool is an HB pencil.
Well, I thought I was seeing some blue on that perspective grid. No. Get up real close to it. That's not a color?
That is not a color. It's a light. It's light. Now, one thing he did do.
That sure is a strictly. I wonder what his gimmick is on getting such a clean grid.
Well, I can tell you that. He uses a machine called a drafting machine.
Uh-huh.
Now,
yeah. He's got his perspective, when he says vanishing point, you are here, he's got this long yardstick.
Right.
That he's setting on top of his drafting table that has given him a
it's a
vanishing point.
Yeah, hang on, I was gonna see if I could find one online to show you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have one. That's how I know. It's something they used to. Oh boy. Okay, it's like this. This is a good. See, and it. Let's see if I can pull the image up. Let's see. This is what.
How much do they want for it?
Well, you can get them fairly
cheap since it's antiquated hardware at this point, practically.
This was $300.
$300. And you can see exactly what it would do for you.
Right. See, it bolts. Now, mine's a little bit different. Mine is one with a track right here, but this one, it's an arm that floats, and this is kind of locked in position, and you can lock it so this doesn't move, but it'll turn.
Right.
So you can see how that would give you a good perspective because you
give you a vantage point, locked down wherever you decide.
Yeah, then you turn your page. It doesn't draw it for you. You still have to know how how a perspective grid works.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to know when you're approaching distortion levels and stuff like that.
Right.
Whereas Byrne never approaches distortion levels. He never squeezes his vanishing points in together too close.
No.
He has always given you about a 35 or 50 millimeter lens to make sure that there is no distortion. That's just, it seems to be his natural gravitation. He's just giving you information that would appear to the eye, basically, versus what your people struggling with perspective always do when they try to lay down a crappy grid and they get their vanishing points too close together, they get distortion.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't. Well,
okay, that's very interesting to me, and I haven't been following it. What I'm doing in terms of like me taking it switches back and forth to us. So it's not just me. So when you say something, it'll go back to you just as a natural flow of things. And I'm working on my thumbnails that Byrne doesn't bother with. I'm just doing these for a little Monsters Unleashed kind of story. I did the last half of them this morning. And if I can remember what the heck these little chicken scratches represent, I'm going to go along with I'm the exact opposite. I know exactly what I am faced with the moment I leave something incomplete, I have got to go back in and recreate that. And that to me is awkward work. And so the closer I can get to finish small, the better off I am. And so that's what I strive for. And so these are just my first pass at these layouts. And now I've got a 4 grid on the first, be 4 pages and even 5 pages. And then before I split to landscape type of gridding, and then I go back to 4. So this is a real classic look to where it's very art heavy, but at the same time, it's very easy on the artist because I've got just 4 images to stick in each page. It's a cool, easy to tell flow what you're up to, and it's a lot like how Kirby worked. If you crack open an old Kirby, you're likely to see 4 panels a page for half the book. So that's what I'm doing. And right now I'm doing a Titan coming up to an overpass.
Now, what are you thumbnailing, Ellis?
I'm thumbnailing. Did you leave the room and come back?
No, no, I was no.
Because I was going to say that's what I thought I was talking about.
Well, I didn't. No. No. I know what you're doing. What are you doing this for?
Oh, it's for a self-published comic book.
I mean, I knew what you were doing.
What do you mean? What am I doing?
No.
But no, I'm doing a comic book that will eventually find its way in anybody's hands that wants it. And I don't know if I probably will go the Indiegogo way, just because that's the only sure way to make money anymore these days on these indie things, because I have such an obvious
connection.
Well, yeah, connections, but plus, I mean, these people that have carved up how to do it, I can go back into that as reference for what you do. And I've got 500 followers on Twitter. If I get half of those people decide to buy my comic book, I'll sell about exactly 10 times more comic books than I've ever sold in my life before. So that's what I'm shooting for, is just to reach an audience and keep going from there.
Gotcha.
Of course, this drawing and talking is you're probably experiencing it yourself. So right now you're lettering them. You're lettering them with the computer. Are you in Photoshop or you?
I'm in Illustrator.
Illustrator. Okay, yeah, that's your program, isn't it? That's what you use at work most often.
Oh yeah, I use Illustrator quite a bit. And I lettered the first issue of this. And so I have kind of a look. That's why I'm lettering this one, because the writer asked if I'd kind of get the look, and I use layers. So I got my art on one layer, and I got my lettering on another layer. My balloons are going to be another. But I just had to figure out where I want the balloons to be.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I'm not really that. I was hoping we'd get somebody else to letter it, because I'd rather be doing other stuff. But
yeah. I mean, yeah, it is always kind of a drag to do the lettering.
Well, and I mean, it's not hard. I mean, it's hard. It's easy to screw up. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But and I have a lot of friends that letter, so.
But that money.
Yeah, it's like $10 a page. I mean, just the ability to handle it. But I mean, I've had. I'm telling you, what's killing me now is getting all these pages scanned in, because I didn't scan in hardly any when I think I had.
Oh man, yeah. Any task that you let slide for a while.
Yeah, when you get to it, it's like,
Yeah, if you get to it later, it's like, oh, let's see if I take 5 minutes per on these. Well, I'm still looking at all week long.
oh,
I'll
God.
be working.
You know what's crazy? You know what's killing me is stinking erasing my pencils. You know, it's like, I mean, I'll erase. Yeah, and I told Michelle, I go, I'm drawing with a lot lighter pencil, man, on issue 3. It's just, and you wouldn't think it'd be that big of a deal, but holy cow.
Oh, no, I hate to erase. I wish I was like, you have to figure that the reason guys like, oh, I keep forgetting his name, the guy, the genius, that Asian guy that's able to just sit there and start drawing.
Oh, Kim Jong-gi.
Kim Jong-gi. The reason that guy exists is he hates to erase, I would think. And he probably, and it's annoying to have to say, okay, I'm erasing now, and it would be nice if I didn't have to erase. Yeah, I'm trying. Basically, I've got a monster headed for San Onofre, so that's going to be easy to draw. Those 2 twin domes, I used to see those all the time.
Oh, yeah. See,
in that area.
I always cheat and reuse as many of my balloons as I can. I don't think it's going to happen in this case, though.
So I went to see, you know how rarely I go out and see movies anyway.
Oh, yeah?
But I went to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and really enjoyed it.
Well, that's cool. I've heard people say it's Tarantino's best.
Yeah, I liked it as well as I've ever liked any of them. So, yeah, and felt more like the likelihood was that I would rewatch that one before I'd rewatch any of them.
Oh, yeah, you had said that. That's pretty high praise.
Yeah, I I was thinking of Tarantino the other night while I was, you know how hard it is how hard it is for me anyway, speaking personally, to land on anything on Amazon Prime
Yeah.
that I stick on.
Yeah.
I'll be sampling all these alleged options I have for entertainment, but I won't watch any of them. And maybe sample
forever just looking for something to watch.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of a trap to get into.
Mm-hmm.
I saw where someone was planning on coming up with an app where you say, okay, my evening's entertainment, press the button and it would, go through it like a slot machine.
Like a random thing.
Yeah. And then pick your entertainment. And, it might be some awful thing like Devil Girl from Mars, which I sampled a little bit of last night. But then you're just stuck with it. If you play by, the rules of letting your app dictate what you watch for the evening.
Well, I wouldn't play by those rules.
Yeah, nobody would, I guess. But
Yeah,
if you were feeling like, I need to watch some movies. I need to spend some time watching movies, But what I did start to watch, and again, I sampled it and closed it up again, is I remember ages ago, David Carradine had this movie called The Sword and the Sorcerer. And the turnoff for me was it had a Boris Vallejo cover on it, where it had Carradine all pumped up as big as Lou Ferrigno, basically.
Oh yeah,
that was the VHS cover art, and I never rented it.
Past that.
Never got past that. And by golly, I was watching it last night, and it's not bad. It amazed me that it was as good as it was. It was good shot construction. Good storytelling thus far. And because the story is, I recognized it within 10 minutes, you know what the story is. It is Fistful of Dollars Yojimbo all over again. It's got it's got the two factions in town, where the guy, the stranger comes to town, wanders in, he's going to start playing them off against each other. And he's just tough enough to do it. So that's it. And I'll watch that. That is a good classic, hard to mess up story.
Yeah, that's a plot that always works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically it actually dates back to, I believe it's James M. Cain.
Oh well, yeah,
Red Harvest. Yeah.
No, that's Dashiell Hammett.
Oh, that is Dashiell Hammett. You're right. Yeah, Dashiell Hammett. Dashiell. Yeah, well, yeah, but if you look it up, I mean, that is the way to pronounce it. But
Dashiell or Dashell?
No, if you were to look it up, you would find notions that it would be Dashiell, but it's actually everybody pronounces it Dashiell, so that's the way to pronounce it. Dashiell. I'm probably revealing what an idiot I am.
Yeah, I think I've read all of his books. There's not that very many of them.
No, there's not that many of them.
I have a hardcover omnibus that I got years ago at a library book sale in the little town I grew up in, and I immediately read through the Maltese Falcon.
Sure.
And I read The Thin Man, and then what else is in there? Red Harvest, and is it Glass Key? Is that what the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like his work.
And is he the guy with the Continental Op, or is that?
Yes, that's the character from Red Harvest.
Yeah.
And yeah. No, what's the other one? It's not The Big Sleep. What's the one? There's a movie. The other one it's all first person.
Oh, that would probably be the Raymond Chandler one.
That's The Big Sleep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or no,
those are Raymond Chandler stories.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I had a period where I went through an awful lot of that stuff, and of course the Coen brothers are trying to do Dashiell Hammett when they do one of my favorites. Say it's my favorite. Jeez, not Barton Fink, but the other one. Same time, Miller's Crossing. They're basically doing Dashiell Hammett when they do that. And I forget which one it's closest to in terms of structure. Probably Red Harvest. No, not really. I'd have to look that up. It's probably closest to the Glass Key, which I can't remember what that one was about. Yeah, let's have a look at this. Why can I not reinterpret that? I don't have the script in front of me, so I can't reinterpret what I'm looking at. I'll fix that one when I do fix it. These are easy to figure out. What else? Oh, yeah, we're due for talk about Thin Man. I guess Barry's kind of threatening to maybe have that be our next movie. Threatening, it'd be all right to watch that again.
Yeah, I like the Thin Man movies.
Yeah, they're very amazingly charming for an age where most of the time people were kind of like censoring themselves, to where the greatest portion of America coming off of Prohibition were still acting like there was quite a bit of stigma to being someone who drinks. Like, oh, why would anybody drink when we've all agreed there should be Prohibition? And of course, our detective, what's his name, Nick and Nora Charles.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're rarely not got a drink in their
Oh
hands.
yeah.
They're always slushing it up really good. Hey, go back here. I'll focus on you. Go back to your artwork there when it was black like that.
Oh,
See that page again.
oh, this page.
Oh yeah, wow! Look at that. That's sweet.
Man, it's letters.
Great. I don't think I ever saw that. That is really nice.
Oh, you never saw this page? Oh, thanks. So what I did, let me tell you what I did just for anyone that might be watching this.
Okay.
Okay, so all of my, I scanned in my inks, and I'll go ahead and open up my second one. And I probably make way too many files. I scanned in my inks as black and white, or at 1200 DPI grayscale, and then I made them black and white, and then I made them TIFFs. Yeah. The reason why I made them TIFFs is because that's how, I mean, the artwork, it's not that clean, but it's black and white. There's no gray in it. This page is particularly not clean. But so when I letter it, what I'll do, okay, so I got this page. So when I letter it, I'll come over here, and so like now I'm going to work on page 2. Oh, that was page. Oh, hang on, I need to save this. The problem is I get too many. I don't have a good system yet, so I run into crazy filing things.
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay.
We'll just have to call this one the dead air.
The dead air. Oh, I'm not too worried about it. I mean,
no, I'm not too worried about it either. but if we were worried about it, we'd probably get a larger audience. I couldn't believe how many hits we got on the one where the sound went just totally bluey.
People
44 people checked in to discover that we had no sound. You know?
I cannot imagine why we didn't have sound, Ellis. I
don't know. I mean, our indications were we were putting it out.
I was watching the delay.
How are we doing now? I haven't looked at our YouTube feed.
Well, hang on. There's sound on it too, just like the old one.
Guess we're good.
You know, hang on just a second. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's. It says we have 2 people watching, which may be you and me. Yeah, I think it's 2 and me. I don't think we have any watchers.
Yeah, that's all right. We don't need anybody watching us live.
Well, I mean, if someone, it's cool when people are watching. But anyway, so what I do is I've got my page scanned, and it's inked and it's scanned, and so then. Okay, so now I've got this page. This is an Illustrator, and I've got layers, and I've got one layer for art. So I'll bring in the inks, and I'll bring in page 2. So I'll place it, and then I'll align it so it's in the right spot, and then I'll lock that layer, so I don't have to worry about it. And I've got my balloon templates over here, just kind of random stuff.
Oh, you just drag those in as needed, huh?
Yeah. So then what I'll do is I'll grab. Now this is the part I don't like about it.
Yeah. Putting the words in place. Yeah.
Well, okay. So I grab them from the script, and then I'll bring them to the lettering layer, and the layers help.
It's just tiresome. Yeah. It's drudgery.
Well, the layers help because you can. When I get the letters where I want them, I can just delete. I can lock that layer and then put the balloons under it. So I don't fit the balloons. I fit, which is probably a mistake, but I fit the letters to the page where they go, and then I draw the balloons under them.
Yeah. Well, no,
You know?
that sounds right because you want the letter forms to be consistent throughout. In other words, it starts to look really amateurish if you start scaling your type.
Yeah. See, and also, what I have to deal with is occasionally I don't draw what's in the script. So like in this one, she was supposed to be shooting a laser at this. She was supposed to be cutting this toad's tongue with a laser or with a knife, and then shooting a laser at it. I couldn't figure out how that would work. So I'm going to ignore the sound effect, but I'm going to do a sound effect on this page. I think
Yeah.
someone kind of puts it there.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
interesting. Well, that's neat because it's got a lot of impact, good shot choices. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I like about I missed something on the other page. Son of a gun. There's captions. I didn't realize there were captions.
Yeah.
With
That'll
the
bug you.
character
Yeah,
name.
that'll get you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm giving myself hopefully enough space as I indicate little thumbnaily moments that supposedly say where my type is going. Hope I get it right.
Well, I did that. Let's see. I on the first issue, I actually did the letters before I drew the art. I did the letters with thumbnail. When I blew up the thumbnail, I did the lettering on there, but it was I don't know. And so I didn't do it on this because I was hoping somebody else would do the lettering, but it was not to be. I forgot. I thought he put it in there, but I missed it. The captions. He's got the character's name on there because I thought he. Well, like I said, I think I need to go back to that page anyway because there's no credits. I'll have to add credits. So what I try and do is go in here and make this look decent. Yeah, see, like this works. You kind of want your wording to be kind of oval shaped. Now the bad thing is I don't have enough room so you can see that missile.
Yeah. Did you ever watch a YouTube of Doug doing his lettering?
No, I didn't.
He takes an interesting approach. It's still like what you're doing, but he always hand draws his balloons around them real quick. He whips a quick little hand drawn balloon around it, and that gives it that kind of warm hand done thing on it still, even though it is still a computer font.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm not entirely sure he is going with computer fonts this time on the Earthworm Jim. I think he may have found a guy he really likes for hand lettering.
I feel like that works for me right there. Oh, you know what? I didn't. Her this the black girl in this. Her name is Honey, and the blonde girl. Her name is Berry. And I always wondered, confused the two.
There's a couple of characters where they play with expectations like that in Our Man Flint, where they give the Asian guy a straightforward, in fact, it may be kind of semi-Jewish name, and they give the guy that looks Jewish, they call him Mr. Chin or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't leave enough room here, or I didn't. So I got to kind of place that. That's going to take a little bit more time. I'll probably break this up into two balloons. One thing that's going to make this book especially difficult to letter is the second, or probably the last 2/3 of it takes place in a mall, and I've got a lot of signs I want to draw. So it's like
a lot of signage to do, huh?
Yeah, it's like what was I thinking?
Well, yeah, nice. It can be a very nice little graphic element to have.
Yeah, and I mean
here and there.
The good thing is, I mean that's kind of what I do at work. I mean, I'll do signage, but I do, a lot of Illustrator stuff. So, so signage and stuff shouldn't be that big a deal. And I've got a bunch of like sign-looking stuff drawn, or sign-looking fonts downloaded. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say while I was working. Oops. But so now I have a special effect I need to do. And so I got to figure out one of the things that I wanted to letter it myself is because I feel like a lot of comics kind of shortcut special effects. And I don't mean like professional kind of stuff, but like sometimes. And so I like when it's something, So here I've got this rocket whooshing off. Now he's in the script it's Chum, but I think I'm going to put whoosh because that seems more like a whoosh. Hopefully Greg is not watching this. Sorry, Greg, if you are watching it. Oh, the person you emailed me about? I don't want to say their name, but you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, uh-huh.
That person just liked something of mine on Instagram.
He what?
He liked something I did on Instagram.
Well, yeah, he apparently is around on Instagram, but I believe what happens when you delete your Tumblr account, it takes all your likes with you. So I've lost this legacy of all the stuff he liked of mine.
Oh yeah,
that was kind of funny. That here I could always depend on him to like anything I did, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
Which I mean that's happening everywhere. Someone labeled me the last man on Tumblr the other day, and I thought that was funny. Yeah, it just shows you how unaware I am of trending stuff. I mean,
I'm on Tumblr.
I guess Tumblr died when they
took off the porn,
their act up, and get rid of all the porno. That's apparent. It's just another thing I would run across porno on Tumblr, but I didn't know that's what it was. What everyone else thought it was for.
Oh, that's what it was for? I didn't know that.
Supposedly, that's what a lot of people thought Tumblr was exclusively for, practically.
Oh,
to me, it was a way to just treat it like a blog spot. And that's still my kind of like default. I could always go back to just being somebody that blogged.
I like Blogger, but it takes more effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one thing I never got into was you think that covers up too much of the?
Wow, you're really good at manipulating those things. Yeah,
this is what I do all day long.
Well, that's cool. I mean, being that familiar with it. Yeah. That works really cool.
Does it look good? Okay, see, that's
looks good to me. I mean, in terms of like following the line of the action, it makes its own line of action there. Maybe
it doesn't quite follow the rocket, does it?
Yeah. You should probably nail that versus having it do its own thing.
Damn it, Ellis. I think, and if I turn it, this is a bad thing. Yeah, I see it'll get distorted.
Oh, okay. So I mean, it was easy to do that way, but it's harder to do what.
Well, I just can't turn it to match that path. That's okay. It's let's see, what do I need to do? I don't know. It's easy to fix. I mean, literally, this is what I do all day at work. Which sounds tedious, but I actually kind of enjoy it. Oops.
Oh no. I mean, a work groove when you know you're getting paid, and you're doing something like that is basically it's your routine. It's what you do.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's do this just in case. Oops. Before I expand it. Yeah, I mean, in fact, if anybody's watching this and they live in the area and they can do this kind of stuff and they're looking for a job, let me know. I need help at work. We're so far behind. This is our slow period, supposedly, and we're just getting killed. I have more work than I did during busy season. And my boss came to me the other day and said, it's our slow time, so you need to watch your overtime. I worked 10 hours today.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to watch my overtime when I work in 10 hours, but hey, whatever.
Well, are you still getting off half days on Fridays?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but 4 days at 10 hours is, I'm going to get off real early on Friday. Okay. Is that better? Does that not offend you? So?
Oh, yeah, that looks a lot better.
Okay, that's what we'll go with.
I don't know why I'm toiling over something that I know is basically a very first indication rough of something.
So what'd you do today?
Oh, I did a little of this. I tend to do these things while I'm listening and semi-watching Perry Masons that are on Prime, which is a fun way to divide your, your attention as you're doing something that should have your undivided attention.
Kind of like lettering while you're talking on
a
exactly. Chat. Yeah, I was happy to see that Perry Mason is on Prime.
Yeah, they got. I think it's. Yeah, I think they've got about 5 seasons worth, and since there's only about 9, it's pretty good.
There are 9 seasons of Perry. Holy cow!
Yeah, at least that many.
Holy cow!
It's a very popular show and done.
Oh, it's very well done.
Yeah, I mean they.
I read a ton of those books.
Yeah, I've read the trivia about typical, but at the same time, you can see where someone said, "Okay, I'm going to make an effort with it," versus some other director, and just better shots.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. Yeah, Dave and I have a friend, or had a friend. He's passed away, but his name was Kevin, and I went to high school with him, and we kind of had this. We would go to his parents' house for lunch, and because he lived fairly close to school, and his dad was retired. His dad and his mom were retired. We'd go to his house, and mom would make us sandwiches. Just like no big deal, just sandwiches. But so we'd go over there. We kind of had a deal worked out where I would drive, and then she would, feed us. But I swear, every time I went over there, his dad was either watching a Cubs game or the Perry Mason. And you would think it would be during baseball season when he's watching Cubs games, but I swear he'd watch Cubs games year round. This is pre-DVR or pre-MLB or anything like that. But he had the Cubs station, I guess, or something. But his dad was a huge Cubs fan. He grew up in Chicago, and he was a big Cubs fan. And so he was always watching those Cubs games.
Yeah, I remember my dad being the baseball fan, and that is a generational thing. I mean, that was the big entertainment. You know, if you were in World War II, that's the data you'd want from a guy that was just joining your outfit. It was like, you know,
Yeah.
that's what you're staying even with, or staying informed about.
Well, one of the things I was talking, it wasn't you I was talking about baseball, was it the other day? I was talking to somebody, and they were saying the reason why baseball is not doing as well as it has, or not as popular as it was, is because, uh, a lot of in the past, kids would grow up playing it, and a lot of
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Now they're growing up playing soccer.
yeah, well, yeah. Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get it, but it's kind of annoying. So that's why baseball's kind of dying. Something else I'm gonna do is I got a fuel logo here that I probably need. Where I wrote fuel, I'm probably gonna type that in. So it's actually legible.
yeah, legibility.
Yeah, it drives me crazy sometimes in comics when they'll do like signs and stuff, and they don't look like they belong on what they're supposed to be on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if I can find a font that you'll looking, that'll be legible. That one will do it.
Yeah, I'm going to. I thought up a project for myself. I so enjoyed inking my splash pages that I did just recently. I've done 3 splash pages, 11 by 17,
Oh yeah,
light tabling them up, and I enjoyed that so much that I'm going to Xerox 11 by 17 Kirby source and not even worry about being able to look at and then transfer it via copying. I'm going to light table uh, that 11 by 17 Kirby. Just make those marks, put my brain in an alpha zone, and just do that. And for a page or so before I really set into the inks on all my little comic book here. I'll have
that's cool.
yeah. And guy, you've got all that John Byrne stuff. You could trace up any of that if you wanted to anytime. You've got your light table set up.
Oh yeah, but I mean, if I did it, I would probably print it out in blue and just do it right on it.
Yeah, yeah.
If I had time, I would do it. My problem is on time.
Yeah. And, oh well, now I guess you've got a deadline right there sitting in front of you. I guess.
Oh yeah, I need to get this. I was talking to the writer, and well, I don't think I told you I have all the script for 3 now.
Oh, okay. So you do have plenty of project ahead.
Yeah, I suddenly became very busy.
Well, this is going to be big for you, Scott, because it doesn't matter whether or not in 5 years you say, "Man, I could have done better on that," because it will be something that you've got in the bag that a lot of people are likely to see. I mean, it's going to tell a story that I think will get out there.
I feel it will do very well. The writer is very optimistic, and the publisher is really. I talked to the writer the other day, and he was like, "Yeah," and the writer and the publisher know each other. They're buddies,
Uh-huh.
and the writer told me that the publisher was like very happy with how what he's seen of the book. I gave him that first issue Ash Can I made, and he was like very happy with how things are going, and he and I thought that was cool because they were at lunch talking about me. Oh, hey, we do have somebody on Serena Sketches. Do you know Serena Sketches?
Yes, I do. She gave my book a plug. Hey,
Oh,
Serena. That means she's. I don't know if she's going to be on the Drawn and Quartered tonight. She's been on that. Hi, Serena. She said hi.
yeah.
I just looked at it.
Gotcha. I'm still in a flammable sign for my.
Oh, you're looking for a flammable sign.
Yeah.
This is how you do it, man. I mean, I was watching Jason Brubaker, and he had some speeded up process video, and he took a quick shot of a hand pose real quickly, drew it into his art. You know, he just did a grab real quick, drew it into his art, and basically traced it. He got his hand pose exactly where he wanted it, traced it up real quickly, and that's the way you do it, man. That tool, if you're going to go digital, you are ahead of the game to get good at like what you're doing right there. Get good at all of it.
Well, I just want to have that because the one I drew sucks. So I'm like, and it's very important that you know that that frog is going towards the fuel tank.
Yeah, it's got to communicate.
Yeah, and so and I kind of drew it in, but it's like, even when I drew it, I was like, okay, I probably won't use this one in the final deal. Okay. Oops.
I'm looking for how long we've been on. I never can tell.
It's 7:55, so it's about an hour.
Yeah, we're already coming to a close, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in terms of like we probably should have a couple more prep moments before we go on with these, because obviously, if you want people to actually watch them, you'll strive for, you know, something like structure to where people might have a reason to watch it. I'm looking at some nice Twitter stuff, catching up with that.
They should watch it so they learn all the secrets of computerized lettering.
Yeah.
This is like lettering 101 right here.
Yeah, but no, I mean,
come on and tell me
a guy can get all the process he needs out of seeing slowing down. That's something that YouTube will do. You can set the speed on it, and you can watch that slow while you manipulate Illustrator. Guy can learn a lot.
Yeah. Well, heck, if they live in Oklahoma City and they know Illustrator, they know where they now got a job lead.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm 100% serious about that, by the way.
I just know the vector stuff on Photoshop. I don't know how to do Illustrator too well. I know that the Illustrator pen, though, the freehand pen, is a really sweet tool in Illustrator. You can get some nice marks with that freehand pen.
Well, and you can manipulate. I mean, it's
yeah, it's still going to be vector later.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And see, that's why, like, for what we do in my work, you know, vector's like critical.
Oh yeah, you got to be able to scale it to any size.
Well, I mean, I'm making toolpath for tooling. You know.
Yeah, you have to have that.
I have to have vectored image, vectored information.
Mm-hmm. You send it to them.
Mill. Yes, we're working on mill.
On the middle. Well, Scott, I guess we. You want to say anything before we? I've got all our usual links, and when are we going to have our next cinema podcast?
Well, I don't know. You know, Barry has like job issues.
Yeah,
been working out of town, and I've had a weird family thing come up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's still kind of playing itself out. But there may be a situation where I'm unavailable on Friday.
Yeah, you're trying to help a family member get their feet back under them.
Yeah, and you know, I mean Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, obviously, I really enjoy doing the podcast. I mean, I do my own podcast. So,
Yeah, I recently boosted your signal on your
oh yeah, I saw that.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, you know, that one hadn't done too well. I'm gonna do one. I think what's funny is you would think it'd be the opposite, but I think I'm gonna call it, for lack of a better term, the nerdier subjects don't do as well. I did
Mhm.
one on my two biggest ones have been on architecture and G-Shock watches.
Yeah. Well, no, that just shows you that, that
This-
never underestimate where you might end up niche-wise. Niche.
Well, and I think the quote geek market is pretty crowded right now.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
Yeah,
so
not only that, but they, I don't know if you followed any of this stuff recently that all seems kind of contrived to me, but they've all been at each other's throat within Comicsgate.
oh yeah, well that's
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, I guess so.
I caught a little bit of that. I mean, I don't. Well, you hate to even comment on it because
Yeah, you don't want to be one of the guys that ends up saying, "What do you mean by that? Say it to my face."
I'll say it to anybody's face. I don't care about that. But I'm just I don't really care to. Well, here's the thing. I'm making a comic book, and I want to sell my comic book,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know if the writer what his leanings are, and so at this point, I'm doing what I can to keep an audience for our book, and so I would be very hesitant to talk about any of this because I don't want to kill my book. Now, if my writer were to come along and go, I'm all in with this group or that group, that would be one thing.
That would kind of force you to make.
Well, but I have a partner. Unlike a lot of these people, I have a partner in this. I have a publisher that I feel loyalty to, and I feel like I owe it to them to keep the book as sellable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if I were to go in and go, well, I'm gonna do this because of this or whatever, or if you believe this, don't buy my book. Like I said, buy my book. I don't care. I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own home.
Yeah.
Or what you feel, or I don't care what you did in the privacy of the voting booth.
I tell you, it escalated though. They had miscellaneous experiments saying, okay, I'm going to try to get away with saying this. I'm going to get away with saying this. And the escalation that rose on Trump derangement syndrome was just pretty amazing. You could see it just like almost like a stalagmite or something build up. It was kind of weird to see that. They're saying, are we getting the green light on this in terms of like this behavior? And by now, there's absolutely anything goes.
Yeah, it is a little odd,
especially
when you consider that they're
talking about the president of the United States, and they're talking about the country and what they're prepared to do to it to get it the way they want it.
Well, and it's weird to me that I don't know. It's weird to me that people would go, I don't want you. This is what boggles my mind, that people would go, I don't want you to buy my comic if you are.
Yeah. Neil Adams is the latest. I had no idea he was such a Trump nut. He said, if you support it, he's saying if you support Donald Trump, you are a bigot and a racist. Basically, he's made that declaration.
Oh,
and it's like, geez, I'm sitting here. I felt the same up until a couple of minutes ago. I don't think
well, this is the guy. I mean, this is. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, you don't even want to comment on it. I don't either, other than to say I think he's a nut. He's goofy.
He is. Well, he's expressed some stuff in the past that I wouldn't call exactly mainstream.
Yeah, yeah.
But whatever. I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't care.
He's a success. He's a success. A lot of these people, I mean, like when Scott Adams challenges somebody, like, "Who are you?" It's like, yeah, you're a success, and somebody's challenging you is less than you, I guess, if they aren't as big a success. But that's not the point. Someone can be a pauper and have things a lot more figured out than somebody else.
Oh, absolutely. The monetary, whatever you call it, rewards or whatever, have nothing to do with being right or smart or.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it has a little bit to do with being smart.
Well,
yeah, a little bit to do with being intelligent. Yeah, but
a little bit. I will agree with that. But I mean, I wouldn't blanket say, because this person has this opinion or that opinion.
It's mainly about how disciplined and how non-destructive you are. If you're self-destructive, you aren't going to get too many places. You've got to be into yourself that much that you're able to, get some wins.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Well, Scott, on that positive note, I think we'll quit for the night. It's good talking to you again. We'll get together. What's that?
It was good talking to you.
Yeah, this is looking good. I'm glad to see such a big deal project coming out of you.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's not done yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it'll get
done though. We can depend on that. You'll get it done.
Yeah, it's funny. You said earlier, I can't imagine about the John Byrne thing. You said I can't imagine sitting down and committing to doing that. He's done 200 pages.
Wow.
And I look at it and I go, that looks awesome. That sounds amazing to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, just doing it because he wants it done, and that. Think about how many people saying, "Oh, I don't want to do another 3-page sample." God, he'd have that done in a day, I guess. If someone needed a sample from him,
Yep.
To me, it's still very much work, to have to do something like that. What I'm doing right now isn't particularly work because I'm working from my script. I'm playing to my strengths. We'll see how it comes out.
Well, he's working from his script too.
That is very true. You talk about being able to see it. Yeah, he saw it when he wrote it. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that to me, when you say, to me, that sounds awesome. To me, the idea of one day being in a place in life where I can get up in the morning and go sit and draw and do these, whatever I want, and not even have to worry about whether I'm making money on it or selling it or whatever.
Right.
To me, that sounds just the ability to sit down and just draw a story. Just and he's working on his characters that he's worked forever, but he doesn't own them, so he can never even.
That's the deal. It's like if he'd been working on his own IP, doesn't matter how lame it was or whatever. It's so weird that he just felt the need to bring someone else's IP to life.
Well, he started as a challenge.
Yeah.
He's not bringing it to life. He's writing it and drawing it like he has picked the part, the Dark Phoenix saga.
Uh-huh.
His book that he's doing takes off right after the end of that.
Huh.
Because, there was a different ending originally on it. And he's taken the approach of, what if we'd gone with the first ending?
He's doing the thing that nobody wants a gatekeeper on their what they can do. All creators want that. They want to say, you can't tell me what to do. I'm doing this. And
originally Marvel was interested. He didn't do it for Marvel. He had no intention. He just put a couple of pages on his website, and people started liking it. And then Marvel heard about it, and so they approached him.
Yeah.
And he said, well, we can talk about it or whatever. And C.B. Cebulski came to his house. He lives in Connecticut. Went by his house and he showed him all the pages. And actually, C.B. approached him at a convention like last August, and they were trying to talk about it. I talked to C.B. about it in New York. And of course, he wasn't going to say anything, but he's like, well, we've talked about it. The door's open. Well, they haven't. Burness said they didn't reach out to him, and he's got tired of all the speculation and stuff. So he just said, you know what, I'm not going to publish this, and he withdrew it. I don't think it was ever a possibility of it being published because they were doing this Hickman thing.
That's wacky. No matter how much you tell me about it, it's still wacky. Hey, okay, well, we'll call it quits, and we'll see if we got sound when we were on YouTube.
Oh, I hope so.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
You too, Ellis. Bye.